If you're one of our returning viewers, thank you for being here once again. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. It is my pleasure to have you here and share my time with you and you sharing your time with me. As the title would suggest, this video is about the airline pilot's lifestyle. We're going to be talking about that and a little bit of the career development aspect of it as well. It'll give you some insight into the industry, into the profession, into the career, and you'll be able to, if you're deciding, this will be another piece of the puzzle to help you make that correct decision. Throughout my career, obviously in the beginning, I did meet lots of individuals who, after starting to fly and starting to do this and that, learned that it wasn't for them. Because this job, it changes your perception of time. It changes how you perceive days of the year and days of the week. So for example, in the aviation industry, you have 365 days in the year and you have 24 hours in each one of those days. Period. There is no really concern for day or night, weekend, a Friday, a holiday, all of those things to the personnel management aspect of it are just irrelevant. What is important, perhaps from a business standpoint, is that we make more money during the holidays. However, if you're a pilot, that typically implies, well, you'll be flying and you will be working while everybody else is on vacation. All right, so it's a little bit of counterintuitive, so to speak, because at everybody's favorite vacation times, there's somebody that has to get them from where they are to where they want to go on vacation. And the airline industry, that's where we come in and that's what we do. So until you have been with a company for a very long time and you have sacrificed countless holidays, odds are you're going to be working the holidays, working the weekends, working nights. So on a domestic schedule, when you're working domestic routes, things tend to be a little bit more structured with regards to the times of day that you will go to work. So the earliest you'll wake up is about 3:30 in the morning. Unless you're in the West Coast doing a red eye, in which case you might be waking up 7, 8, 9, 10 p.m. body clock time to get that flight and bring it over to the East Coast so that you're landing at about 6 in the morning. Granted, that is definitely not the norm. There are plenty of what we call red-eye flights, so the backside of the clockwork on a domestic route, but the absolute majority are still in your regular circadian rhythm, respecting your body clock, where you work in AM and a little bit of the PM. And vice versa, but you're not flipping your clock upside down. When you're going internationally, then things are completely different because your destination may be upside down. It may be exactly 12 hours off of your body clock at your point of departure. And then you run into, complications associated with that and how to manage all of that. We can maybe address that at a later video should you choose. I haven't personally done that, but I'm in the industry and I work with people that have, and so I have a lot of information regarding how to manage that type of stuff. So I would like to share with you, for example, my current schedule, right? So this time I'm working what I would consider to be a really nice 3-day schedule. The flight schedule is 1 flight on day 1, 2 flights on day 2, and 2 flights on day 3. These flights are longer flights. The Boeing 737 does longer routes, and that results in more productive days for the pilot. The less flights you do, the easier it is for the pilot due to the fact that you don't have to get the airplane ready for another flight and check out the incredible amount of variables that you need to analyze prior to every single flight regarding the safety, the weather, regulations, and a whole host of other criterias that you address every single time prior to every single flight. We call that the pre-flight part of the procedures that we do. So on the first day, I worked from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., landing here in Mexico City. We happened to lay over at a really nice hotel. Internationally, in particular, it tends to be of a higher level of importance to stay in really nice hotels, primarily for a safety factor. Day 2, we got a schedule of 3 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. So definitely a longer day that I'll be flying over to Salt Lake City, and then we'll be finishing our day in Denver. And on day 3, it is basically noon to midnight. So again, a very long day, and is Denver to LA, and then LA to Atlanta. So, a long day, a good amount of flying to be had. So just because you're not doing that many flights does not mean you're not working a whole bunch. Keep in mind, if you're doing some of those international routes, you're doing just one flight, except that one flight, can be 12 hours, 16 hours long. So the amount of flights you do per day is only one of the many variables that impact the overall quality of life while you are at work. And, there are many variables to manage from the quality of life standpoint that really make this job unique. Most professions, most careers, most jobs are not that complicated, right? You have an office, you have a place that you go to and you work, and, you check in maybe a little bit later, maybe a little bit earlier. Your work schedule might fluctuate a bit, but the majority of the jobs have a relatively stable structure. Now, I am aware there are thousands of jobs that are actually on the backside of the clock and do have, a floating schedule, so to speak. And the airline profession is definitely, without a doubt, one of those big floating schedules. So, for example, I can build my schedule in a manner that would yield about 14 days of straight work. And then I can have the rest of the month off. And that sounds pretty great, except if you have a wife, family, kids, a husband, perhaps something else going on outside of work. That's difficult to manage 12 days that you're just missing, right? So it sounds pretty good, but it is complicated in how you manage it on a day-to-day basis. Then when you have kids, they're to be age where they're going to school, and daddy kind of needs to be around a little bit more. That will completely change how you reevaluate. You will have to reevaluate your weekends, the Fridays, special events start to get way more important. So all those variables get to be very complicated. It is a very personal thing. If you're single and you're going about, your life, that definitely makes it a lot easier because you're not having to manage the whole family situation aspect of it. So in the beginning, when you're younger, it is definitely a lot more fun and adventurous. Then when you're getting older, you do have to accommodate all of those additional complexities. So hopefully giving you a little bit of insight, a little bit of information here regarding the actual real dynamics of the day-to-day operation. Just a small insight. Do let me know in the comment section down below if there's perhaps an aspect of that lifestyle that you'd like for me to address more carefully, to go into a little bit of greater detail. Don't want to bore you to death. Now, I would like to show you the room here a little bit and talk a little bit about what I prefer and what I look for in my layovers and hotels. There's that romantic aspect of it. You have a long layover in Paris and it's wonderful. And then there's the reality, which is I'm looking for good restaurants, good internet, and a good gym. if the layover is long enough, if I've spent enough time in the city where I can get out and do some sightseeing if I haven't been there before, that is something that I definitely do. I've done many times throughout my career. But, you know, you go to one town, say you go there about 10, 15 times. I mean, you will get to a point where you're like, okay, you know, I've seen the city, I've seen this place. Then your priorities do shift towards your productivity, your enjoyment of the layover more of on a routinely basis. And for me and for many of my colleagues, that really does come down to the quality of food around the hotel, the quality of the room, the gym at the hotels, or perhaps an affiliation with a membership nearby, a membership nearby, that you can go and have a proper good workout on the road. And then, you know, fast internet, because the world revolves around the internet and you need that to stay connected. So there we go, folks. I'll give you a little tour of the room right now. Like I said, I do find myself in a really nice hotel here. It's called the Intercontinental, the Presidente Intercontinental, here in Ciudad de Mexico, and it is a fantastic hotel. This is a really nice hotel. So not all rooms are this nice. Please do keep that in mind as we take a look and go about. But here we go. That's what we have. Got the curtain down there just a bit so it wouldn't wash out the video as we go about and take a look here. Lots of outlets. Today you got to charge a bunch of devices. You got to charge everything, keep everything charged. There we go. Notes that I had for the video. It's just, you know, you come in as an airline pilot, you develop this a flow of things and you become a little bit of a machine as you're doing things. So you tend to do things very much the same way. The consistency will make for and allow you to not forget stuff and not to leave things behind. When you're doing hundreds of layovers across a few years, it is definitely really important that you don't forget anything. So really nice shower, really nice restroom, and very beautiful, comfortable room here in Mexico City. And definitely appreciate you tuning in, folks. My pleasure to have you here today with me. We'll be doing more videos like this if you'd like. Otherwise, we'll definitely be seeing you back in the studio. And thank you for sharing your time, and fly safe. Thank you.